Hello everybody and welcome to Ironman Santa Rosa. We are here in Santa Rosa, California for the inaugural race at Ironman Santa Rosa. I've got a very special guest. I'm Mike Reilly, everybody. How you doing? I've got a very special guest with me today that's doing the race on Saturday. And of the 2,000 people, her story is quite amazing. And you know how I always try to throw inspiration your way, and some of the inspiring stories that come my way I want to pass on to you so that you can get through the day-to-day struggles of life. You can get out there and get that training done. You can get to that finish line, and we all need that motivation. And this young lady with me here today is definitely one of those type of people. Her name's Kristin McQueen. Kristin McQueen. I knew I was going to do that. I got a friend, Kristin. Kristin McQueen. She's out of the Chicago area, lives in Naperville, and she's gone through some trials and tribulations in her life that most of us will never ever experience. But she is a 15-time Ironman finisher. She's finished Kona. And Kristin, welcome.
Thank you.
It is great having you here. It's great interviewing you, and
great to be here.
And I can't wait to call you an Ironman on Saturday. Let's get that out of the way right away.
I can't wait for you to announce me.
Kristin has gone through 6 neck surgeries, rounds of radiation. She's had 14 brain surgeries, trying to beat cancer. The physical challenges are just amazing. And the reason she does Ironman, I read, is to reclaim your body back. So what do you mean by that?
So with cancer and with all the complications that I've had, it's so out of your control. And I race for the American Cancer Society to raise money for them. And so that's always my go-to when I struggle to get up, struggle to get going during the day or have a rough day. Training is my go-to. It's my constant, and by racing for the American Cancer Society, I make it bigger than me. So I've been able to focus on training, focus on something bigger than me. And Ironman, though it seems so out of reach for so many people, for me it's always been a constant. So I get up and I try to swim, or I get up and I try to go to spin class, or I try to run. And that helps keep my body strong. It helps keep my body healthy I should say. But it gives me mental focus as well. Instead of curling up into a ball of depression, it helps me kind of just keep going every day.
And we have so many athletes out there that I hear from that go through the struggles of the mental side of everything in life. Mm-hmm. And when you have to deal with something like this on the cancer you're dealing with, that working out, it's universal. It's like it's mental and physical therapy. Instead of sitting in front of a doctor or sitting with somebody, you're kind of doing it yourself.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely my therapy. I'm very spiritual. I'm not a church person, but I use it as my kind of prayer time, spiritual time as well. So I call it my God time. So I get out there and I kind of work through everything that I'm going through. So when I go through a training session, I may go in feeling awful mentally, but I come out and I feel refreshed.
Well, Kristin's done 15 Ironmans, as I said. She's doing Santa Rosa on Saturday, and you're doing Ironman Wisconsin the 1st of September.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. You've got that on your schedule to be able to look forward to it. That has to be a big part of your working through recovery.
Yes. I've been off of work for quite a while now. I've had a lot of physical issues. I had another tumor grow. I've lost a lot of weight. I've had a lot of insomnia, so I haven't been able to work. I'm a physical therapist. So by going to the gym, I've been trying to build my body back up so that I can go back to work. But having these benchmarks on my schedule gives me something to work towards, and just something, something that's really all I have at this point.
You are doing Wisconsin, and after Wisconsin, you told me you're going in for another round of radiation?
Another brain surgery.
Another brain surgery. So that'd be
4 days after.
Number 15.
Yeah.
4 days after Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So you already know that you've got to go in for another brain surgery. Is that you've had so many, I'm not going to say it's common for you, but it kind of is.
Sadly,
but
yeah.
does that weigh on you? Like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get this Ironman done, this one and then Wisconsin, and I got to go in and they got to go into my brain again. It's just
a little bit. I mean, it will probably come into my mind during the race at some point, but on race day I have nothing but joy. Racing for me is the entire day. I have a smile on my face. It's pure joy, and it doesn't matter what happens during the day. I could get kicked in the swim, my chain could fall off my bike, I could have to walk the entire marathon. It doesn't matter. I have a smile on my face the entire day because I know what happened. I know what can happen with my body on other days. I know I've been in the hospital, I've had my head cut open, I've had my neck cut open, I know how awful I can feel. So just to be out there racing is the exact opposite of that. So to me, I'm so grateful that I made it there. My victory is always the starting line, and so whatever happens after that is bonus. And so I'm just so joyful to be out there. It's just pure joy.
That's actually beautiful, and I'll tell you what, Kristin, you just gave probably some of the best advice you've ever heard and I've ever heard about an attitude on race day and what it's all about. And any first timer out there, you think about doing an Ironman, I'd replay this back and listen to what Kristin just said about the attitude on race day and how you're gonna, the start line is a big part of it. Finish line's a big part of it, that type of thing. So you're battling through, and you have to obviously be on certain types of drugs. You said you've lost weight, and the nutrition. Is that a big part of the day where you've got to really try to figure that whole combination out so that you're okay nutrition-wise? And
because I haven't been able to do a lot of conventional training. I've only been on my bike twice before this race, so I haven't figured out the nutrition piece for the bike. So it'll be kind of a guessing game. So I threw a bunch of crap into my bento box, and I'll just experiment. I'll take in fluids at every aid station and kind of see what happens. I know I just need to take in calories. My body is not at its normal weight, so I know I need calories just to keep going. And then, for the run portion, if I make it that far, it will likely be a walk. So same thing, I'll just take in calories at every aid station and hope my body holds up, and hopefully you'll announce me at the finish before midnight.
I will. Let's promise each other.
Okay. It's a deal.
All the doctors you've worked with and the nurses you've worked with and medical staffs, they probably can't believe, because you're not a normal person, but yet you are beyond normal. You've broken through barriers that probably most of their patients can't even fathom, and that's got to just be almost daunting to the medical professionals that take care of you.
A little bit. My brain surgeon, my current...
Listen to that, her brain surgeon. Her 15 times.
Who has a brain surgeon?
Brain surgeon.
My brain surgeon, I love him to death. He is amazing, and he encourages me actually with Ironman. So last year, I saw him for an appointment after you announced me in Madison, and I wore my finisher shirt, and he walked in and his eyes got real wide, and he's like, "You actually did it?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "I am so damn proud of you," and he gave me a big hug, and he knows how important these events are to me. So when we were scheduling this 15th one, I gave him my Ironman schedule, and I said, "Where do we work it in?" And so we initially had it scheduled right after this race for next week. And so I was not confident that I could do it being at the weight that I am. And so I had another consult with him, and we talked about it, and I said, I think I might need a little bit more time to try and put some more weight on and get a little stronger.
Right.
And he agreed. So that's why we pushed it back to September, so that hopefully I can gain a little bit more strength. Because I was still planning, even though I was going to have surgery next week, I was still planning on doing Madison, 5 weeks after surgery. which would be iffy. So by pushing it back, I feel a little bit more confident about Madison, feel a little bit more confident about surgery. But he's all in. Like he knows how important it is. He embraces me as a person, not just another weird brain, and so he's awesome.
So many people obviously want to be able to get to Kona. They want to be able to get to that island and race the world's greatest race. And 2 years ago, you had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Give everybody out there your feelings and what you were thinking in the process that you went through mentally coming down a Reilly drive to that finish line, to the world's greatest finish line.
Oh my God, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. So I got in through the Legacy program, and that is burned into my brain. And I told myself as I turned down a Reilly drive and I started to hear the crowd, and I didn't see the finish line yet, but I stopped and I said, I actually physically stopped and I said, soak this all in right now, because this is probably the only opportunity you're ever going to get to do this. And so I stopped and I soaked it all in, and then I turned the corner for those final 2 blocks, and it was so amazing. I can't even describe it. It's like a regular Ironman finish times 1,000. I mean, I couldn't even find, I had a group of, I don't know how many people I had there, 8, 10. They all had matching shirts and giant heads and signs and posters, and I couldn't even find them. It was, the finish line was so wild. You know, it was how many people deep on each side, and people are reaching out, strangers, for high fives. And I love that the Kona finish line is a little bit narrower, and it's carpeted the whole way. It's like you have your own personal runway. And so I was just kind of high-fiving people, and I carry what I call an angel list, because like I said, I run for the American Cancer Society. So I have a list of everybody I'm running for. So it's people with cancer, living or deceased, and I'm up to, I think my last count is like 270 some names.
Wow.
So I usually wear a visor, but because my head's so sensitive lately, I pin it to my shorts during the marathon. But for the finish, I unpin it and I hold it up across the finish line, which I did in Kona. And so I had unpinned it, and when I got across the finish, when I got towards the finish in Kona, my first thought was, oh crap, it's elevated, please don't trip. And
you're not the only one that thinks that.
because I was like, don't face plant in Kona. And it was just so loud, and all the lights, and it was just so amazing. And I held up my angel list, and it was the most incredible moment of my life. And like I said, it's burned into my brain, and every time I think about it, I get goosebumps and I get teary. And it's just, when I heard your name announce me, I will never forget it.
Yeah, well,
Ever.
Good for you. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Special moment.
Thank you.
Kristin, you're amazing. I wish you the best of luck and success on Saturday.
Thank you.
The success with everything you're going through. It's interesting, you know, people, the Ironman world, that we know of these stories and we want to hear them. If anybody's out there, you know, trying to figure out your life, or think you've got it bad, or think, you know, you can't get off the couch and go out and train, there's somebody out there that has it. And I'm not going to say Kristin has it worse than you. She just has more struggles and challenges makes one stronger. That's what challenges are for. And I think the strength of this young lady sitting next to me is times, as she said, 1,000 of other people, just because of what she's gone through. So anytime you are feeling down and out, and anytime you can't get out there and train, or anytime you are trying to figure out how to change your lifestyle because it's not positive, you start thinking about people like Kristin that have done it. And as easy as saying to yourself, get your butt off the couch and get out there and do that. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining in. Kristin McQueen is going to be out there on Saturday with 2,000 of her best friends having the time of her life. As always, everybody, aloha. We'll see you later.